I would say, ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch, oh, the wicked witch. I'd sing it, sing it, sing it. She has stepped down. The head of the Secret Service has officially resigned. She quit. She exited stage left, and it was obviously as predictable as all get out. She knew she was going to do this before she sat before the House committee yesterday, and she knew she was just going to obfuscate and just get out of there and just go collect her big golden parachute, and she's just fine. So I hope everybody feels comfortable that the second in command that wasn't as talented apparently as this woman is now to be first in command. She's now first in command. So congratulations, Secret Service. Can't wait to see what happens in the next coming weeks.
You become the latest government agency that no one likes and no one trusts anymore. Here's what I did like. Nancy Mace, the representative from South Carolina, she put an impeachment notion on the floor yesterday that would have forced a vote within 48 hours. And given what we saw yesterday in that House hearing, even Democrats wanted her to resign. So you can imagine she could have gotten impeached, which would have been hilarious. But that's part of the oversight. Like, Mike, you and I talk about all these blowhard politicians that go on X and say stupid things. I don't care about your words. I care about your actions. Take action. So Nancy Mace actually took action and was going to force this impeachment vote. And then, Cheadle was like, I'm just going to quit real quick. I'm just going
to quit real quick. Seriously, you think about all these bozos that have been strung before us, and you see these giant packages that they get on their way out. This is no big deal. It's like, okay, fine, take your licks. That's it. Go do something else, or go be a consultant. You're going to be just fine. Go be a security consultant for whoever, and you're going to be just fine. Don't worry. We've already got you paid. I mean, look at the, what was her name? Dr. Blasey Ford. Remember her? Yeah. The took on Justice Kavanaugh. Remember, she said in third grade, he touched me on the swing set or something like that. And then this whole thing came up. Don't worry, that trial is going to come up later in the show, I promise. But she walked away with well over $2 million in GoFundMe set up by the Feinstein office.
Which we don't know if these people,
what's that? Well, okay, but still, it was still legitimately set up for her. Whether she got it or not doesn't matter. It's that these people that are that get to fall on the sword, they're falling on a rubber toy sword, and they're just running away and laughing their asses all the way to the bank. So, okay, she's gone. Good. Still doesn't make us any safer. If you see that all of her underlings that were running around like it was like I was at Barnum and Bailey again, watching clowns run around after the president was shot, they're not gone. They're still there. They're still protecting our elected officials. I mean, come the hell on. Like this doesn't make us any safer. It's all just, okay, she's gone, so we're going to move on, and we're not going to ask questions like, oh, wait a second, Robbie, did you see that magically the radio communications, Secret Service, and local law enforcement from July 13th are gone? We don't have those. She said that under oath yesterday. Yeah, we don't have those. Just like Jan 6. Do we have any Secret Service recordings?
Where would they be saved? If they're live, do they automatically get saved? It's just a radio.
She was asked first. Is it routine in these in presidential form, whatever, to record these and to keep these? Yes. Do you have the recordings from this day? No. We don't have any. And it's like, do you have any from Jan 6? No. Just okay. So we see what we see.
That's it. I mean, this is more proof, again, that has been happening for 50, 60 years. We just usually just rant and rave about it, and nothing ever happens.
We get to see it now.
Well, that's fine. But I mean, I can pull out these books all day long that at least for the last 25 years, 30 years, there's been evidence of things like this, of how bad these government agencies are. It's just we don't care enough eventually, because typically what happens, Mike, is you're exactly right. Politicians know how to play this.
Yeah.
They're the masters of narrative. They're the masters of story. And that's what this is. So they get Cheadle to go away. The Secret Service director resigns. And then our attention will go on to the next outrage. Like there was all these people tweeting last night that Joe Biden's in hospice. Like, oh, okay.
Cool. Okay, but at the same time, because we get to see what we see now, like Rob pointed to a stack of books. Who do you know that's going to go try to find something and reach for a book for it? Not a lot in these days. Okay, going to go right to their phones. And if you want to find out that Joe Biden is seriously jacked up right now, this is the stuff they'll see. You will see this, him getting stuffed into a presidential limousine. Literally, their Secret Service agent lifting his butt up into this thing and tucking his feet in. That's not a good look, y'all. So you see that, and you're like, okay, so what is that guy right there in the blue and yellow tie? What does he know? What is the guy stuffing Joe Biden into the seat? You can just look at him, lift up, move him over, and now he's going to tuck his feet in. There you go, sir. Just get his head. So when you say that Joe Biden had an episode in Las Vegas, okay, which seems to be the case now, that he had an episode. They said he fell and hit his head. Okay. No one should believe that. No, I don't believe that, but he fell and hit his head. They cleared everything all the way back to Delaware and go back to, I think it was Johns Hopkins. And so something is seriously wrong. And all of this started setting into motion, into place. So when you see that's the kind of the same thing that we've seen for the last 50, 60 years, we've seen nefarious, but this is probably the highest level side of JFK. This is what I've seen. Like, this is an orchestrated, this is all the fact that his resignation to his staff, to his campaign staff, was on speaker, on the phone, not even in person, and was done in front of basically a Kamala 2024 banner. Like, we just see it. It's just there. Actually, here that is. Sorry, that's something actually worse. That's actually worse. Here we go. God dang it, Michael. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm not Johnny on the spot with the audio today. So anyway, can't find that. Anyway, Kamala, I was really even in show prep, Rob was seeing, like, I'm like, how did I lose that clip? Where did it go? So, but anyway, having technical issues. He basically got on speakerphone and said, sorry, staff, I know you guys poured your heart out to this. Just not going to do it anymore. And he did say it's the right thing to do. Very Barack Obama-esque. It's the right thing to do. And he had a giant Kamala banner behind her at campaign HQ. So this was just, to me, is just, this is orchestrated, and it is what it is. It falls in line with what the Democrats have done over the past 2 election cycles, now a third. And it shouldn't be really surprising to anybody. What I've seen, though, is a lot of chatter about, and just chatter is what it is on social media. A lot of chatter about Democrats going, this is just BS.
But the real question is, why is this not going to be a landslide election? Why are not Republicans going to dominate every race there is out there? Because all of this, according to us, is very obvious. So you're going to have 40% of the country that doesn't give two you-know-whats, because they're going to vote Democrat no matter what. So 40% in the tank, 40% in the tank for Trump. So there's 20% left in the middle. Why is the Republicans having trouble getting all of that 20%, given what we've seen and what we know? That, to me, is really interesting. Because this should be easy. Winning 2024, the House, the Senate, and the presidency should be easy, given what the Democrats have done.
I do agree to an extent with what Rob said. Here's where I'd pull back and disagree a little bit. 40% are not in the tank for Trump. They're not. 40% is the majority of that 40% is in the tank for Trump. The rest is like, again? Okay. What else we got? But we'll probably vote for him. But I don't think that's a deadlock. And I think it's the same on the other side as well. There are people that have just Kamala could, we use that expression back in the day where Trump could murder someone in the street and still win. Kamala could do the same. Like, all of her baggage could just come flying out. Doesn't matter. That a good portion of that 40% is going to vote for her anyway. But a portion of that 40% is looking at what just happened and said, I don't know if I'm down with this. And who knows if it's the start? Who knows if it takes to 2028 or 2032? Whatever it takes. I think a lot of seeds are planted on both sides that it's not sitting well with us. And I know in the middle, it's definitely not sitting well with us.
And that's all I hope. I mean, because, again, I could cite the books, and you're right. Nobody reads books, and nobody cares about
you nerd. I love you.
But this is the real challenge, because we're all reacting to things instead of thinking about things. So we read a Czech Palahniuk, the guy that wrote Fight Club quote a couple weeks back. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's essentially the fact that you think Big Brother's a problem. No, Big Brother's laughing because we have these devices that occupy our minds all day long. So because we're occupied, we're not actually thinking. We're not taking time for ourselves to really work through things. We're not building coalitions with our neighbors and our neighborhoods. We're too busy being reactive and distracted by all these news to actually take and have impact on going forward. So it does present a challenge in that it just seems to me, Mike, that all of this is just entertainment to some degree. While we take it seriously, there's not a whole lot that we as voters can really do about it other than vote for one side or the other And that has proven not to change any of this. That has proven just to put us in this position now where everything in government is so incompetent that we just kind of throw our hands up and go, oh, okay, cool.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree and disagree. Sam, I understand the sentiment, but I think there's two parts to that. Those that are being entertained and just kind of love to fall right into the bubble and love to fall into their algorithm. It's just like falling onto a big cushy mattress. It's like, I'm comfortable and I'm safe right here. Those that do think, research, and voice what they found have been, I would say, masterfully labeled as conspiracy theorists. Libby, you thinking outside? Whoa! Who's this guy? Remember back in the pandemic, those that were we were told specifically. You have to remember this. We were told specifically. I can find audio on this, and I will. We were told not to do our own research. We were told just trust. Do not do your own research. People doing their own research were morons. People doing theirs were flat earthers. People were science deniers at that time. Those that aren't just falling into the algorithm and falling into basically the matrix are seen as outsiders, threats, and flat earthers, conspiracy theorists, whatever, because we're not just buying into the propaganda.
But this is, I mean, again, let's unplug from the algorithm for just a second, because okay, call me a conspiracy theorist on the algorithm. Does it matter?
That's
no.
Okay.
Because I don't think that anyone called a conspiracy theorist has backed off or stopped talking about the things that, might lend itself to conspiracies.
But it stops some, it stops some from going out and saying like, yeah, I don't want to be some conspiracy theorist. Fine. Yeah. I guess if I believe that Joe Biden's in great health and he's wonderful and he's going to live out his presidency. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to believe that instead of, I just saw him get literally stuffed into a limousine. This is weird. Something's off. And
but doesn't that expose our own internal weaknesses then?
100%.
We're not willing to use, again, going back to the Chuck Palahniuk point. If we're so distracted and occupied and we can't think clearly and freely, Big Brother essentially has won. And maybe that actually is the problem, Mike, is that not enough of us as individuals have enough fortitude to look at things a different way, and we're too worried about other people's labels, because I think this is the big challenge. We talk about the Scarlet Letter a lot. I know, speaking of another book. Oh, my goodness.
No, I agree with this.
But this is my point, is to your point about conspiracy theories, it's more of the social contagion that comes along with it, where everybody's afraid of losing their tribe. So they keep a lot of things internal, even though they may be questioning things. You're not sure who you can say it to, because the group that you might hang out with might outcast you.
Right. And let me give you an example. This is an extreme example. Come with me. I don't know why this popped in my head. Just you've known me long enough to know this. Just buckle up. It's going to be weird. Like you look at the dudes in Dubai. You look at like the Crown Prince, all the dudes wearing the robes and stuff like that. I'd rock that every single day if I wouldn't be, but I would be afraid to be a social outcast, because this is the most comfortable thing you could possibly freaking wear. And out here, do you notice why people in the desert are wearing that? Because it keeps the wind circulating through your body and it keeps you cool. Here in Arizona, that should be like standard issue. But you can't, because you're like, what the hell happened to Mike? What is he wearing? Like, I wouldn't do that. So it's this, I think it's already ingrained in us to be, okay, I'm not going to speak out against this. I'm not going to say, gee, it's kind of funny that they already have Kamala banners already at Biden's HQ. They already got those all ready to go. Kind of weird. Can't really say that, because people are going to think I'm some nut job that said that this is all a plan, which it was. So that's I think that goes along in that line. If you're following my
well, then that again, it comes down to me, and I just think it's personal responsibility for us. Look, if this is serious in our country, and many of us think this way, then we need to figure out more to do with it other than post on X, because that's not changing the world. And if you're afraid of the other side's labels and names, okay, well, maybe this isn't for you. And I think
we all are, though, is my point. We all are afraid of labels and names. Every single one of us. You can act like you don't care about labels and names. You do. Everybody cares about labels and names. Everybody. It's ingrained.
Which is why they're used. Which is exactly why they deploy them as weapons. And if we're not willing to say, okay, cool. Because here's what's happened, though, Mike. Because of this, it's just a split. It's like the river has split in half, and you have to pick your side of the river. Which river bank do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the right side of the river, or you want to be on the left side of the river? Because we don't associate, because there's now a river in the way. So we'll just call everybody on the other side a name, and that way we don't have to talk to them either. We can distance ourselves from the quote unquote crazies, and we'll leave it over here. I think that, to me, is that big issue. Is there's a we the people for the reason. It's not we the politicians. It's not to be ruled by decree from Washington, D.C. And I think that we often forget that we have way more power than they want you to believe that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But it requires us to do things a different way, because obviously there's a model. There's an economic model behind all this media and social media. There are people making billions of dollars off you being pissed off every day. There are billions of dollars off of you being depressed every day. Billions and billions, it's probably trillions of dollars every year exchanges hands, because at the end of it, there's a beneficiary, right? And the more we are plugged into this, the bigger that benefit becomes. And then the bigger the conspiracy theory, the labels become. And, it's also, as in this post-Trump assassination attempt and paying real close attention to Twitter for the first time in a long time, I see how it works. I see how Jack Posobiec talks to the same people every day. I see that it's not like there's no crossover there. So for whatever reason, the right-wing MAGA media stays in that circle, just like the left-wing, whatever it is that they are, the Rachel Maddows of the world, stay in that circle, and they rarely interact except to make fun of each other.
There is a song that I just heard that I was just looking up there. It's called by Jordan Davis, called "If Good News Sold." And that's right. If good news sold, it doesn't. Bad news sells. Fear sells. If it bleeds, it leads. It's just been the way we are. It's been who we are, and I mean, just it's kind of ingrained into us, and it's being used against us, because that's exactly what we do. That's what we are. But let me show you this. This is interesting, and this is Senator Coons, who is the little worm that took Senator Flake behind the woodshed during the Kavanaugh hearings and just elongated that for 2 more weeks for some stupid reason. But he had something on him. So here he is now as the head of the Biden-Harris campaign, now Harris campaign. He says something pretty interesting. I want you to hear this.
Biden, as we saw on that debate stage, I don't think that there is a huge cover-up underway here.
Okay, obviously, right away, he's thinking, I don't think it's a huge, who brought up cover-up? Okay, not a huge cover-up, but okay, bro.
And I frankly don't think that matters
Doesn't
to
matter.
the discussion and the debate going forward.
Okay, that's it right there. Okay, yep, you know what? You busted us fine. You saw it. I don't think there is. Actually, earlier on, he said it's BS. Okay. So obviously, it's like, look, I don't think that's important. Okay, what we did and what you saw with your own eyes, not important at all. What I want to do is talk about the discussion moving forward. And if my kids said that to me, I would know that immediately. I'm like, you guilty little punks. You said that you didn't do all those things. Oh, no. Don't worry about that, Dad. No, that's in the past. Dad, I'd really like to move forward with what we're doing this weekend and have some great adventures together and, really build some family memories. Why don't you, we just don't worry about what happened. Let's just talk about it moving forward. This is just, and by the way, he's right. We have to. We have no options. We have to just move forward. Literally, we saw what we saw, and we just have to, and we're seeing what we're seeing, and we just have to, we just bite the bullet and take it.
Well, this is, I think, the reality of making ourselves have a binary choice in elections, because, we use the religious example a lot, and it's a perfect example for exactly what you're talking about, Mike, in that if you're in the religion of the Democrat Party or the religion of the Trump Party, the Republican Party, you're in that thing. It doesn't matter. Just like when I was in the Catholic Church growing up as a kid and there's allegations about priests. Nobody left the Catholic Church because of it. They were like, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Blinders on.
No, same as Cambridge Analytics.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Oh, they're selling our stuff. Oh, no. We're still on Facebook.
Exactly. And that's really what I'm getting at here is ultimately the problem is us in our inability to get out of our religious sphere, especially now. And I don't know how much it's reinforced by algorithms. I don't know if it's natural. I don't know where the technology has helped morph these into religions. But I can attest to you that over 25 years of doing this, talk radio, it has gotten more fervent in the last 8 or 9 years since a dude
100%.
came down an escalator.
I wouldn't even say that. I would go before that. I'd go well before that. And this is what I've given W to some extent, mostly Obama, and then definitely Trump and Biden. Is previous presidents didn't have to deal with the internet. They can get away with shady stuff all day long. They can do who the hell cares? It's all just what is an article in the New York Times. Who cares? Nobody's going to read that. Most of society doesn't even know what was said there. Who cares? Now we have constant surveillance. We have Freedom of Information Act. We have all of this stuff, all of the access to what they have gotten away with in the past. And now it's just, I'm almost, it almost sucks. You guys came along way too late. You guys could have got away with all of this, and no one would even cared. Had it been 40 years ago, no one would have cared.
Well, and it only matters if someone's punished at the ballot box, right? So let's just say
they get punished there.
Well, but I mean, let's just say that this is true. Let's say that every allegation being made about the Biden presidency is true, that it was a cover-up, that they knew all along that he was like this. And it's very obvious that Biden was not 100% even in 2020. If you were actually paying attention and looking with your eyes and listening with your actual ears, again, taking your partisanship aside of it, Biden was not right. You could tell because they didn't campaign him. You could tell because he said, true international pressure. Remember that one? Like he started to run words together in like big jumbles.
One word. I could sum up America in one word. How's it big?
Exactly. And there were numerous incidents of that. You could tell he walked different. You could tell he sounded different. You could tell he was thinking differently. Just comparing Biden old footage to Biden new footage. So let's just say that all of this is really true. And let's just say that, again, 40% is in that religion and is going to vote because it's anti-Trump, or who cares if the guy's dead? I don't care because it's not Donald Trump. And you got 40%, they're going to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. Again, that 20% right there in the middle might not feel that you have good options because you have a cover-up in the Democrat side, and you got a guy involved in January 6th and selling a lie about a stolen election. Again, I'm talking independent voters here. So you have to sit there and you have to make a choice between a party that covered up a declining president as they usher him in inside of a Secret Service vehicle.
Usher him.
And then
let's use the word stuff. It's really what he did.
But then you have Trump on the other side, right? Which, again, we have put ourselves in this position that we have to pick one or the other. We have to pick either the cover-up side or the lie side for the last 2.5, 3 years.
Or the mega inflation side, the Green New Deal side, the botched Afghanistan withdrawal side, or results that actually meant something, at least to our economy, into our national security. So I think it's a false choice to say that, we're deciding between a guy that's looking like a corpse right now and a guy that lied. No, what we're doing is we're going to have to, and independents are the level thinkers that, and I think there's a lot more independents than just 20%. The independent thinkers out there, and we the people that see, you know what, things were better. It just is what it is. And if we have to choose between those two, or if to choose between the one we know, Jack Johnson, the name you know, right? Jeff Johnson, the name you know. We have to choose between that or a completely unproven, stumbling, fumbling, bumbling VP that hasn't won one vote. Like, that's really what, and I mean, my prediction for this is she will be the 47th president of the United States. So he was running against an unproven incumbent that's tethering her, that's hitching her wagon to a failed presidency. So I think that's more the choice to independent thinkers than, I don't like him and I think he's dead. I really think I think there's a lot more to it than just what's at surface level.
I wish I agreed with you, but I just don't think people vote based on facts anymore. And I just don't. I think facts are completely irrelevant because there's too many things. Like, it's impossible to remember everything that you see and read every single day. So it is impossible to differentiate sometimes between truth, rumor, obvious lie, not so obvious lie. I think that's part of the challenge is information is so cloudy now, it becomes harder to make a decision, which is when we revert back to our emotions. Even to go back to what you said, the Jordan Davis song. The reason why fear works is because fear is emotional. It's instinctual. It's a thing that we all have, that we have had for 2 million years as humans, a survival instinct that activates all kinds of chemicals in your body which force you out of your logical brain into your reactionary brain. And I think if the vast majority of people are consuming news in a very different way, not by watching news, not by listening to news, but being online and on our phones constantly, it changes the entire way that we, the people, vote and we, the people, consume information. So I wish you could say, yes, better 4 years ago, but I also think that paints a rosy picture minus the pandemic, because I just don't see realistically how easy it is to go back to that, what we had in 2017, 2018, because everything's so mumbled and jumbled and inflation is high and interest rates are high and they're not going to come down soon. So there are numerous challenges ahead where Trump thinks he can get away with it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it quickly. By doing what?
You can do a lot quickly, as our buddy David Schweiker said. You can do a lot quickly. It's going to hurt. But we remember this. Remember, he said this to our faces in studio. He said, we have to painful. I forget the words he said, but it's going to be painful getting out. Whether we like it or not, there's going to be pain getting out of this. And I think that either way you go, if Donald Trump says, I can fix this and it's going to suck, hang tight. It's going to be better at the end. Trust me, guys, we're going to get through this. Or we're going to go through a lot of pain and he's going to tell us we're not going through pain. And then we're going to get at the end of the tunnel and go, okay, we made it out of it. Either way. Did you ever see that SNL skit they did, the Trump shoes? I'll bring that to you tomorrow. It is absolutely magical. When he came out with the Trump Force Ones, his tennis shoe. Did you see those?
I didn't see that.
You didn't see those?
Gold ones? The gold ones?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it's a perfect, it's the guy that does the perfect Trump impression. I don't know. You know the comedian?
Seth Gillis. Shane Gillis. Yeah.
Shane Gillis. It's him. And basically the shoes make him not better at basketball, just telling everybody and convincing them that he's better at basketball. It's fantastic. It is so, I have it saved, so I will find it for us and we can enjoy that and have some fun.
Look, I get it. There's a lot of people who do believe that because life was a certain way under Trump, it will automatically go back to that. But we're now $6 trillion more in debt. There's more government money that's attached to the economy that no one wants to let go because someone's benefited from that. So the trick in the actual mechanisms are trickier because of the integration of government money in propping up the economy. Going back to what you said, Mike, about it being hurt. I'm not sure that any president wants to start off a new term and say, okay, guess what? The next 2 years is going to be recession, maybe depression, but we got to do it because we got to get this government money out of the economy.
So you need a Rand Paul who can be honest with the American people and say, guys, this is where we're at, so let's go. But I don't think you need Rand Paul because Rand Paul would have to worry about his second term. What you might need, and what might be the case here, is that you might need a guy who knows he only has one term and a guy who has laid off people, closed down companies, done that, closed casinos or whatever. Not casinos. The casino was just his name on it. It wasn't even his casino. But I'm talking about the one in 29 Palms on the way to California. It used to be the Trump something.
Well, there was one in Jersey that he had challenges with.
Well, I mean, but when they said, "Oh, this one went bankrupt," they literally paid him to have his name on it. It wasn't even anyway. But somebody who has made those types of decisions, like, okay, we're gonna have to. This is gonna suck, but here we're gonna be better in the long term. Maybe that's it. But then again, that's me thinking, I don't know, with common sense.
You need a Senate and you need a House to go along with that.
Sure.
And I think that's a big factor here is that in order for Trump or Kamala to enact their agenda, they need full cooperation in the Senate and the House. Now, granted, what we've seen over the last few administrations is using executive orders for lots of different things. So Trump or Kamala will both do the same thing, and the imperial presidency will continue to grow under either or at this point.
and how bad is that? So if Donald Trump came as president, he's going to be 48. I'm telling you I'm sticking with it. He'll be president 48. If he comes in at 48 and says, okay, I have the greatest, every economist in the world, and literally this time, like every economist in the world said, holy hell, even David Schweiker, this is the way out of it. We can do this. We can actually make this happen. As a matter of fact, we can cure diabetes. We can do all that stuff. And let's say like what diabetes? And we can do all of this. and we can save Social Security, and we can do all of this. Hakeem Jeffries will most likely be the Speaker of the House, and he'll go nowhere because of politics, not for the greater good, all for the greater advancement of their party power and success. That's it. That's as sad as it gets right there. That's a I don't know if that's a sobering thought or a thought that'll put you in the corner and let you cry for a few days.
Well, and Mike, and I think that that's my approach in all of this is I'm done with the parties. I've always kind of been done with the parties. I don't think they represent America's best interests. I think they represent the party's best interests. And I think that both parties represent the donors to the party's best interests. And I think that that's how they view the world. Because what I notice is a very myopic view in politics. So whatever side you're on in politics, you look at it through that lens only.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't even consider, because again, we're all consumed by our side now. It didn't used to be 24/7. You could have access to all of the your side information you want, but now both sides have it. Stick to it, because again, I watched a bunch of TV after Biden dropped out on Sunday, just flipping through like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes here, and watching Rachel Maddow was completely different than watching Fox News. Watching Rachel Maddow, she was like, yep, it's over. Kamala's going to win. Kamala's going to be the next president. Democrats are going to win the Senate. Democrats are going to win the House. It's over. Done deal. And it was like, okay. I think this election's coming down to ground game, coming down to strategy, coming down to tactics. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the same 6 or 7 states that the last 2 elections did. And whoever gets the ballots in is going to win. I mean the Democrats have a machine. What's that?
You mean on election day?
Or
a few days after, whatever.
Election month.
Election month. Anytime in November, you guys are good. We'll just go ahead and count those.
But again, right? That's the game. If that's the game, then play the game. Don't try to like complain about the game, because complaining doesn't get you any votes.
The cool thing is that this is well, Lord, I have to have faith in a campaign. But in faith in attorneys general throughout this nation, but everything in this is fact checkable. It's okay. The shenanigan moves that those key states made because of COVID have mostly, if not all, been deemed unconstitutional after the fact. But you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So those same shenanigans will not be at play, because unless their state House and Senate have jumped in there and made it state law and changed the actual law of their state, they won't be at play because they're deemed unconstitutional, hopefully, when they're announced that this is what we're going to do with mail-in ballots and this and that, and it can be till November 10th and this and that it's immediately challenged. But we'll see. But it can be now, because now it's set precedent as unconstitutional. But check it, Rob, I don't know if you saw this. The anointing of Kamala Harris. This is one of those cringy moments I've seen in cable news, because, well, it's Jake Tapper won, but I mean, they are just fawning all of this. How cringy this is.
Natural question for you.
I am here today just for this question.
Well,
yes, our biggest brat. Yeah.
So, I, for the record, I was tipped off about this, what I'm about to share with our voters, our viewers, rather.
Oh, what? I'm sorry, Jake. What did you say? You're about to share with your who? Hold on. I was going to see if we get this here.
I, for the record, I was tipped off about this, what I'm about to share with our voters, our viewers, rather.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not propaganda.
Daughter,
who
is an actual member of Gen Z. Kamala Harris appears to be leaning into this. The singer Charlie XCX tweeted last night, "Kamala is brat." And this is in reference to her album. It's called Brat. Kamala has branded her Kamala HQ Twitter page with the same aesthetic of the album. It's another Gen Z word, aesthetic. It's even becoming a trend on TikTok.
I can't get more cringe. You can't do more cringe than this.
So first of all, just for my producer Elizabeth Stewart, who will spit out her coffee as I say this, I am supposed to say that's brat. And for those who are not in the know the way I am, that is a cool thing. It has.
Okay, I can't even anymore. I can't. That's what that literally is what we're up against. An entire media apparatus that is just going cringe Gen Z, acting like they're one of the cool kids, and I know that we can get these young voters if we just say that Kamala is brat, which I thought I was up with the lingo. I thought I had it all going on. Listen to my 2 kids speak a whole different damn language. I had not heard brat.
By the way, I would encourage conservatives on Twitter to stop posting the video of Kamala with Montel Jordan. Because number one, she looks banging. And number two, stop. I mean, she looks good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You think it's oh, look at this. And you're comparing her on your side. You're trying to claim the moral high ground and you're pushing Donald Trump. It just doesn't work. It's just stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're actually helping Kamala. But here's the gig.
Oh, what are you talking about?
No. There's all these conservative commentators online. Part of the Trump
I've seen the video.
arm.
I get it, but I don't get what the comparison we're saying.
Well, they're trying to say, look, you can't trust Kamala because she slept her way to the top, or she had, an affair with
Montel Jordan. I mean, Montel Williams. What's his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Montel. It'd be better if it's Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. That's Montel Jordan.
This is how we do it.
I'm gonna get Mad Street credit. She's like, oh yeah, me and Montel Jordan, we go way back, and Montel Williams. I dated all the Montels. I just think it's a weird comparison.
Montel.
Try to take. Look, I have the moral high ground. I'm voting for Trump, and Kamala's dirty. Okay, come on. Let's be serious here.
Trump's a hoe.
Exactly.
Trump's been a hoe his whole life.
That's my point. You can't say Kamala is sleeping around and say, I'm voting for my guy. Get out of here. It's stupid. It's just asinine. The moral argument, number one, is not going to win. And I actually think there's a dance video of Kamala. It was part of it in there. And I'm like, okay, she looks kind of. She looks
okay. That's a cringy dance video. There's several videos of her dancing that I see the same people putting. Let's just post pictures of her dancing. She seems relatable, and she just seems like that. She knows the words to the song. She knows the words to the songs. I was like, hell, all right,
exactly.
What are you guys doing? And then Trump's out there doing this thing. Like, no, guys, no. I'm with you.
But I think here's the question, though, Mike. Again, going back to CNN, because I argue with people about this all debate. I don't think the media is relevant at all. I don't think Jake Tapper is relevant. I don't think he carries any weight. So whatever is on CNN, it's irrelevant because, number one, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, they're thousands of years ahead of CNN's coverage every single day. TV coverage is so slow.
They react to social media. That's where they get their content.
Bingo. So my point in attacking the media is it's not relevant to attack the media other than it's a go-to thing that we conservatives have done for the last 50 years. The media. No one watches the media. 1 million people watch CNN. There's 350 million people that live in this country. 3 million people watch Fox News. 1% of the entire country. And by the way, the conservative media imprint is way bigger than that of the left wing. It's way bigger. If you count talk radio, 100 million people listen to talk radio every day across this country, something like that. Even if it's 80 million, that's way more than any CNN broadcast in CNN's history.
Sure. Yeah.
So the argument has to be this. To me, Trump does really well with people that have not voted before. The key is finding them. So again, I'm just talking strategy here. There are a number of people who feel so disenfranchised by this country that they're not affiliated with left wing, they're not affiliated with right wing. They just want someone to listen to them, someone to hear them, someone to understand their concerns. Those people that don't typically vote are the keys to victory for Trump. It's identifying, it's finding them, because I'll even tell you this. Inflation is a huge issue for everybody. So you want to go talk about a low-income area. I just went and knocked on some doors with Representative Annalise Ortiz here in Arizona in Maryvale, one of the lower-income neighborhoods in Phoenix. One guy's concerned about his property taxes because his home value went up and he can't afford his property taxes now.
Yeah.
There is a major path, but you have to figure out in this election cycle, Mike, in my opinion, how to get your message out of your circle instead of reinforcing the cheers and the yeah, we're awesome. You already got that. You have to find people that don't see your message. And you have to work on that message. And maybe it's inflation. Maybe it's the property taxes. Maybe it's a better economic policy. Because at the end of the day, if you can't afford to go to Taco Bell, like I can't right now,
no joke,
it's too damn expensive. You had the KFC $80 bucket of chicken or whatever.
That guy about died.
Exactly. Like no one should ever spend $80 at a fast food restaurant. The whole point of fast food is not $80.
Yes.
But that's the reality now. That is a winning message, but you have to get outside your own sphere to try to influence other people that don't hear your message because maybe they don't have a phone. Maybe they're not on Twitter. Maybe they don't watch the news. Maybe they need a mailer. Maybe they need someone to knock on the door.
There's an X factor here. And I said that intentionally.
Smooth, baby. Smooth.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Elon Musk he's committed to $45 million a month until the election to go to pro-Trump PACs and all of that. $45 million. I mean, we're talking Zuckerberg money at this point. And he's got it, doesn't care, and he is all about it. And it's not that he's for Trump as much as he is against woke. He's against the woke agenda. And I think that with the power of this man's purse and the power of his voice, I mean, he's who was that dude on MySpace, everyone's first friend?
Tom?
Yeah, Tom, right? Yeah. He's Tom on X now. He is Tom on the biggest social media brand there is. He is Tom. He's everywhere. Everybody got to follow Elon. Elon's the boss man. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is frightening.
To one of my older boys. Where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was
connection.
tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway,
this man has been scorned. This is one of his children. Mind you, there's 35 of them. But this is one of his babies. And he thinks this entire ideology of puberty blockers and by the way, this administration has tied themselves to the whole kids should be able to be whatever sex they want. That whole agenda. This man, this isn't just something he read and he was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I must do something about it. As a parent, he thinks he's failed his child. There is quite literally no bigger motivating force than that. And when you see him have whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's any Democrat, if you see him have them in there, I can't say that now. I can't even use that analogy. In his view, okay, whatever. In his crosshairs, he's going after him. He's going to take him out.
Well, it's personal.
Yeah.
And that's how most people are, right? We act personally. But I think to make this a little bit bigger, let's bring the Secret Service back into this for a second. Let's bring Anthony Fauci back into this for a second, because there's a commonality here in what Elon experienced. We forego our own knowledge and expertise for experts all the time, because we have convinced ourselves that there's levels of society and levels of knowledge and that those people are smarter than us as individuals. So let's go back to the Secret Service. The Secret Service, we always understood that they have one of the most dangerous jobs. They have to protect the president at all times. It's tricky. It's difficult to do. But you didn't expect them to fail that bad, because we had built up that they were experts, that they were on top of everything, that they have enough resources, whatever it is, to get the job done. Clearly, that's not true. Anthony Fauci, the other example. Again, he was the expert. He was the virologist, the most famous virologist in the entire world. Doled out a bunch of your money to all kinds of organizations to fund and research science-y things. So because we deferred to him as an expert, the entire country was, yeah, okay, at first. Yeah, all right. But then, because of what you knew to be true, or maybe you listened to Russell and Hunter, and maybe we shared some data that Fauci wasn't sharing with you, you started to see that Wynn really wasn't an expert. I mean, expert more so, he knows more about viruses than both Mike and I do, and probably you guys combined.
Yeah, we hope.
But how much of that is actual applicable knowledge? Because none of the antidotes that they put out there actually worked. So is he really an expert? And the same thing with Elon. So Elon takes his son, now daughter, if I'm not mistaken, into the doctor. And I don't know, maybe it's the reverse. Maybe she went female to male, but I think she went male to female.
Okay.
So he goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, all right, this is what we do, because if you don't do this, your kid's going to kill themselves. And that is a common thing that is said to parents in this position. And you have to think about, you want to go back to fear as a parent? That's the most fearful thing you could hear. So of course you're going to take action. So this is what I mean. The expertise bubble is burst. And that's what Elon is saying to you, is that he trusted a doctor. He trusted that if he didn't do this with his kid, put the puberty blockers in place, that his kid was going to be dead.
Yeah.
And if you're in that situation, of course you're going to say yes, even though you might go, okay, what else, what other options are there for me? Could I put this kid in a mental health program? Could I put this kid with a therapist? Could I send them somewhere for a month to really work through this? If you explain that you had different options, because you always have options. But in that situation, right, Elon deferring to the doctors, and now he's in this position where he gets to tell you that, because that is it. The only expert is you in your own life. And you got to make the best decisions you can. That's what Elon is talking about here. And to go back to politics, Mike, there is at least one party in the state of California in particular that has just neutered parents' ability to be involved in a consequential decision like, yeah, I'm not what I say I am, or I'm not what I'm born. That is crazy. But again, right, you have to get the message out to the right people in the right way to have an impact.
Well, I mean, okay, so now that sheds a whole new light on why Elon left California. He left California because it's personal. It wasn't just, these guys are just kind of crazy. I'm not liking this. I'm digging the Texas vibe, and Austin has some good real estate. We're just going to go move there. They're giving us good tax incentives. But because it's good jobs and it's got a good university there, blah, blah, blah. This was personal. Had nothing to do with business. It was all personal. That is wild. I mean,
and a compelling story.
Yeah. But I mean, could you imagine? I mean, the economic impact of one piece of legislation, because the CEO of that company found it personal and had the resources to move the entire organization, hose California employers, employees, taxes, whole nine, and just take it up to Texas and stoke them because they're not dumb enough to do something like that. It's absolutely wild to me.
But that's the action. Like, Elon has that power and can take that action step and can make that a big deal. It's, can he influence other people to do the same thing? Because again, what we're seeing, California is a perfect example. And there are probably some Republican states that are perfect examples too, like Mississippi or whatever, that when you are a one-party state, that's when things get really extreme. That's when you fight against abortion positions and you make it illegal in your state because you have one-party control. Mm-hmm. Or in California, it's the exact opposite. You make it illegal for a school, a teacher, to tell a parent that their kid says, I'm born a male, but I'm a female, and I want you to call me Julie.
Yeah.
Like, that's the extremes of partisanship in a nutshell. And again, it to me is this, every day is a wake up call for all of us that, freedom is a tricky thing, because Mike gets to live his life the way he wants. And I shouldn't be able to make that illegal because I don't agree with it, or I have different principles, or I have a different belief system. But I think that's the trap that I see both sides of politics is, I want to use the law to enforce my moral side of the world. And that's not what laws are for. Laws are not for morals. The laws are for protecting me against you. Can
I lighten it up a little bit here?
Please.
Dude.
Seriously. Tell me a joke.
If we need it now. This morning, I got plenty of them. Holy cow. I mean, So I mean, this morning I went to fill up my one of my trailer tires. Remember when you used to get these, pump? You used to roll up to the pump and it's free. It's $1.50 now. It's $1.50.
Is that credit cards? I saw one that took a credit card.
Oh, they'll take credit
cards.
Who has
coins?
You know why the air pumps are expensive now? Inflation. Inflation. There you go. You wanted a dad joke, dude. I just launched a dad joke for you. You said you asked for a dad joke. I gave you dad joke.
That's good.
And then, but I saw the trailer for Joker 2, and I was blown away. Like, I was excited. And the last time I went to the movies, I was excited about the previews. I got excited about movies again. And you know me, I hate going to movies. And I understand, give them sport and they will never revolt. But if now is the time that America needs some damn good cinema, I mean, if this is the time, I would say if any time, now is the time, because that looks like a banging movie. And if you guys are comic book nerds like me, I'm telling you, this is essentially Harley Quinn's origin story, and it's Lady Gaga. And she is amazing in it. Yeah, so those two together. If you ever saw A Star Is Born, I mean, she's an amazing actress. And it's really that was a movie that's really weird, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I am excited about that. It's got that DC dark to it. I'm fired up. And there's a bunch of other movies coming out that just got me jacked out of my mind. I'm going to see Twisters. I have to see that in the movie theater, because it's just grab some damn popcorn, forget about everything else. Oh, it's the original. It's just a remake. And who cares? Go have fun. The original was fun. Go have fun with this one. It's probably got better special effects, got bigger. It's got a great soundtrack. That new Luke Combs song, woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, it's got a hell of a soundtrack too. Anyway, I'm excited about movies again, and I think it's a damn good time to be excited about movies, because everything else you turn on is a bunch of crap.
I think that's a good point, because it's so easy to get wrapped up and caught up in the politics of the day. But I said this a couple weeks ago. Either way, whoever wins, you still got to live. You still got to live in the world. You got to live in the world, whatever the prices are. Yeah, it sucks that they're so high. I don't like it. You don't like it. But it is what it is. That's reality. I'm not wishing for a miracle that all of a sudden Taco Bell is going to come back down to $8 and I can go back to Taco Bell. That's not really thinking that. So we have of course, we own a house. We have an AC problem.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Welcome
so we
to
have
summer,
a leak in our little furnace. So we got to get that fixed. At minimum, it's $4,200. Now we're looking at options. Maybe we just buy a whole new thing and replace all the things. That's where it really kicks you in the face, right? Because an AC now is not the same as an AC 5 years ago.
It's true.
It's a lot more expensive.
A lot more expensive.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. It's like double. So you're like, okay, great. I need something to get out of my head where I could just be.
Yeah.
And whatever that is for you. If it's movies, awesome. If it's meditation, awesome. If it's both. Because I haven't vibed with movies in a hot minute. I don't know why. I just haven't vibed with it. I think, I just
used to go to movies all the time. You had that discount theater down the road.
Exactly. I wonder if it's still a discount there. I haven't checked since COVID.
It's probably $14 discount now because of inflation. It's probably what it is now. It's $14.
Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. He's an actor also. He posted a picture. He went to the movies in New York. It was $26 for one ticket. So maybe I don't want to go to the movies because it hurts too much.
It's essentially, I mean, with that Horizons, that one, the new Kevin Costner thing, this going that 4-part series, we went at 3 hours. I mean,
it was 4 parts.
It was
I thought it was only 2
or 3 parts. I don't know.
Okay, but still,
once a month. And let me give this to you. You don't need to see it in the theater. Like Twisters, you need to see in the theater because it's just boom, like kind of crazy. This one you can wait at home so you can get up and go to the bathroom, not miss anything. I went into line. I'm not kidding. I went in. My girlfriend asked me. She said, "Can you get whatever?" I was going to go get another beer, and she was like, "Can you get me this from the concession stand?" I waited 20 minutes in concession stand. Any of you with kids that your kid says they can't find a job or they're just not getting hired for a job, they're not looking for a job. Because I mean the level of the quality of employee at probably 5 out of every 10 places I go, I'm like, I don't understand like how anyone can't find just a gig right now because these people are just the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, 20 minutes I missed 20 minutes of the movie. So don't worry about that. Just those kind of movies, just stay home. You good. You just wait till it comes out on Max or whatever the heck it is.
Maybe it's time to bring back bowling. I wonder if bowling has been nailed by inflation too, because bowling's always a good time.
I would assume. And they have cool places. Like they got State 48's got a bowling at Westgate. It's got bowling lanes in it. It's a bar and a restaurant. It's fantastic. There's other than I would rather just go to the OG bowling lanes, like
AMF
straight
lanes.
like
AMF lanes all day,
straight out of Lebowski. I want that kind of atmosphere. Back when my parents were in their bowling league every other Friday night. Oh hell yeah, they just give me just a fistful of quarters and like arcades over there. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, it is. They bring me some nachos. They bring me nachos. This was the greatest Friday nights as a kid. and they're out there just drinking with their buddies. You know, there was no Uber or anything like that. We're just, which one was the most sober parent to get us home? Ah, the good old days. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I bet you bowling's been hit.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wonder if I can. I'm not gonna look it up right now.
But the movies, but I'm saying, I mean, they're really making, whether it was the strike or whatever it is. I mean, there's some solid looking movies coming out. I mean, Beetlejuice 2 is going to be probably terrible, but I mean, Winona Ryder looking not good in that.
I saw that, because I love Beetlejuice.
I do too.
Here's my challenge, though. This is what I don't like about remake movies. They take the same plot and just rebuild it. I'm like, really? If you want me to go back to the movies and you're going to try to entice me with something nostalgic like Beetlejuice, tell me a different story about Beetlejuice. Don't just tell me, oh, now Winona Ryder's daughter is going to do the Beetlejuice thing, and then Beetlejuice is going to try to marry the daughter like he tries to marry Winona Ryder in the first one. Because I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I'll wait to watch it at home versus going to the movies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want to go to the movies. I really don't. I have no desire to go to the movies. I don't. But now I want to see. Now you're enticing me. You're bringing me back in. I got good food. I got good drinks, and I can just hang out with the fam bam. And you got great seats. And I saw Intern Beans was showing me 5K, something like 5K cinema or something like that, where the seats move. And she was showing the theater they're showing Twisters, and I'm like, these guys getting a ride. I don't think my cracked skull can handle that. No, they were like, yeah. I'll do it again. Yeah, basically the same thing. Yeah. But I'm going back to I'm in. I'm going back to the movies. I'm excited, and I got over my movie thing.
All right, I'm gonna have to look and see if there's any trailers.
There's one coming out that reminds me of Arlington Road. If you remember that, Jeff Bridges and who else in Tim Robbins was in it. Fantastic movie. Very suspenseful. There's one where a dad takes his daughter to a concert, and they're all bouncing around. It's like a Taylor Swift kind of vibe. And the whole place goes on lockdown, but nobody knows they're in a concert. And they're all having a great time. The thing goes police state because there's a terrorist in the building. And I'm not ruining anything. This is what the trailer is, what the story is. The dad is the terrorist. Just the most unassuming dude. You see him kind of walking through the corridor, getting a beer, going between all the police people. Excuse me, got to get back to my daughter, kind of thing like that. That kind of suspense thing. Oh, let's go. Yeah, I'm excited about movies right now. Good, because I'm just bored. Yeah, and I'm just sick of hearing all this crap. Okay, fine. We know there's a coup. We know that whatever. Who cares? Joe Biden. Like that. So I'm going to go see a movie. I'm going to go see a movie, damn it. I'm going to go see a movie. It's trying to think of compelling arguments. Is that a compelling argument to get someone to say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty shady. I'm going to vote for Trump. Even though he's pretty shady sometimes. Don't know. Exactly. He's not. I'm going to, anyway, whatever. He ain't that shady. What we just saw with the Democrat Party, come on. The Republicans haven't played that game since, I don't know, probably JFK. But I mean, they literally, be serious. Like they're Democrats are playing a game on a whole new level right now, and they're not hiding it. They're just saying different. They're like, no, you didn't see that. Well, and you didn't see that. I didn't see that. So you didn't see that. And don't worry, we're just going to move forward. That's why moving forward. Again, I get back to this point about, as obvious as it is, this is still going to be a difficult election, and it shouldn't be. Weird. And that should be a warning sign to everybody. But it's going to be weird. It is, but that's it. It's going to be weird. This is either you have to think that the country is like that far gone and we don't care anymore, and we're just riding it out and seeing where the sunset's going to be, because that's what it seems like to me. We're like, whatever. kind of like the last scene in Rogue One, where the big blast is coming to get them, and they're like, "There's no way you can outrun us." They just hug each other. We're like, "All right, well, here we go, ride it out. Nice little sunset, ride it out into the sunset." That guy right there is Rob Hunter on Micros. Thanks for hanging out. Once again, guys, share this, do everything, help us out. Let's get the word out, and let's have some fun. Let's keep doing this all the way through this very, very weird election. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on Russell and Hunter. Everybody have a